All right. So, about 8 months ago, Marvel Rivals released, and it compelled me to make a video for the first time ever about characters I wanted to see. And since then, the other half of the Fantastic Four is released, along with Emma, Ultron, Phoenix, and Blade comes out in like a week. Not to mention the game going through multiple phases, whether it's triple support, comps, flying meta, dive getting obliterated, on top of the general perception, I would say, of the game, like changing in the eyes of people since then. And in all that time, I want to talk about my thoughts that have kind of like accumulated or shifted since then. Okay, so let's start with the easiest and the most interesting topic, which is characters. And to start, as of me writing this, there are 10 vanguards, 22 duelists, and 9 strategists. And let me say, I get why there's so many duelists, since counter picking exists, team comps exist, and that plays so much into what you can and can't do, but it's like, man. Combined, the two other roles don't have as many, and I think the other two roles are as limited. But let me share my thoughts role by role. All right, so like my general thoughts on Vanguards is this role is scuffed, man, and maybe this dates the video. I think I've already dated it, but the season 3.5 patch isn't out, and as the hot topic I've seen around tanks as of right now is that Emma and Magneto are like super valuable or super good, and that kind of boils down to how much value they give you, since Magneto can kill support ults, and Emma makes playing tank when you're not like the Thing or Mag really hard. And I bring this up because people have been talking about whether they need nerfs or if tanks in general need more buffs. And with Emma, I feel like they're in a tricky spot because that first patch where they nerfed her, I think they nerfed her diamond form damage, which valid, fair, and I think they shrunk how much she can shield. And then, not to mention, at the start of season 3, she got another nerf to the damage reduction in diamond. So with her, I feel like they're walking a tightrope because they've already done a bunch. Maybe it's not, maybe like the strength in which they did it, but I feel like they're like one bad change away from her being like a rework character. But speaking of reworks, I kind of think Magneto needs one, and all right, this is from the soul, all right, and this may sound dumb, but I feel like people will get it. When I play him, I don't really think I'm playing Magneto, Master of Magnetism, all right. And how do you think I would fix this? Give him, throw away the shield. I don't like his shield. I don't really think, I think it's whatever. And trade it for the sword that he got from the Wanda team up, because he feels so much better and more fun to play. And maybe like you tweak or beef up his bubbles a little bit to make up for it. But with Emma, I ain't got no clue, man. She's so fun to play as is, and even with those nerfs, she's still cool and like the top tank in the game. And then for this last bit, I just want to talk about the Thing team up, because I think it's very, he was like already kind of, and it's even more funny that he got he can just like get drop like a predator missile into the back line. And um oh yeah, Thor, can we buff Thor, man? Make him like move better, faster, give him a team up that does something instead of being an anchor. But yeah, that's all I'm really cooking on with tanks. Also, we need more, maybe more variety. I I think the start of the season, giving the thing something to handle flyers was a good start. Maybe for like half it, like if he can hit them with the shield throw, it just knocks them down and then get back right back up. You know, like the thing punch, but you know, stuff like that I think is cool. I don't know why like they decided. I understand like Strange, you can float up. Magneto's got some range. Emma's got some range, but the other dudes like maybe give him some so it's easier to deal with. Or all right, never mind. That's for a different time. Okay, that's all I got for tanks. All right, so the next role, I'm a little hesitant to talk about because I think it's a loss, and it's strategists because I don't think this game does anyone who's a true support main and like they genuinely like playing that role any favors. And I also wanted to say I kind of think supports in this game just aren't the hottest either. But or like support players, I want to say I think this is because a lot of people who play this game are like genuinely bad or like aren't aware of how good they are or like what they're capable of and like what they aren't. Like it's like when Gotenks first fuses successfully against Boo or before Boo and he tries fighting him before like even attempting to go like super Gotenks. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of this player base. But that being said, um the reason why I was talking about how this game doesn't do any like support mains favors is because you got Looney, you got Luna, Loki, Invis, and then when they get banned, you got Dagger and Rocket, and the other ones aren't good or they need triple support. And hey man, we play the game, right? We understand how there's so many people that do not give a fuck about what the team needs or or like what works with the team. They're gonna install like whatever they want to play, and you're just not gonna get the opportunity of that. So like that like level of coordination or just like team composition just doesn't exist. And while we're on the topic of supports, I kind of want to talk about sustain and like sustain ults. So this might be like a bad player take, but I don't care, man. I think these ults are like the other side of the coin that is the DPS ults. I feel like there's so many that's like the team just dies or like they like heavily like destroy the team or like you know what I mean. And so to me, it's only natural that like supports have ults that like keep them alive when like you got Star-Lord ult and whatever. And that's not to say like it's a good thing that they have them because that makes matches stall where the game gets boring where there's like almost half a minute where like we're like rotating support ults and you can't do anything. So when like supports like Jeff or the original Rocket or even like Adam's ult, you're like at a disadvantage because what are you supposed to do with that when maybe you don't have shield tanks and like hella ults raining down on you. You got what's another Star-Lord ult. Star-Lord's stupid, man. But which sucks because I think no matter the role, a character's ult should like set you up for like a good position for a team fight where like you should probably win it, which they do, right? But like I don't know, I feel like so much of support is rooted in like how valuable the ult you bring to your team is instead of like oh or instead of like oh I brought this character, I'm bringing Jeff or like Mantis and our team's kind of like faltering for it, which I do, and I don't agree from the standpoint like you can be good enough. You can be good enough to make up for in other ways, but I also like the way the game works. It's like yeah, it is making it harder. But yeah. Um, I don't know, cause like it's hard for me to talk about this role because I started as a support main with Mantis, and I thought she was like the most fun character in the game. Her and Magic, like bar none, and since release, since these 8 months, she's just been crushed and crushed. So I've like played support less naturally, and now I like now if I'm in a stack, I don't mind playing Invis, but otherwise it's like yeah. But yeah, also last remark, I talked about this a little in that character video I made, but we don't need women in this role, alright? Or like, it sounds so bad. We don't need female characters like specifically locked to this role, okay? We don't need that. That's stupid. That's dumb. We don't fuck with that around here at Junk Dog Entertainment, Scrapyard, whatever. Alright? Put them in tanks. Put them with DPS. You know, the ones that make sense. If they make sense, I'm all for. But otherwise, like, I don't know, man. There's no like that leak of Rogue. She don't need to be a support, okay? But I'm getting off topic. Yeah, that's all I got for supports. And then we got the last role, the biggest role left. And I think what I want to start with is there's a certain duelist since season 3 has come out, has been terrorizing people, got people in a riot, and it's Black Panther. And before I get into that, I want to mention like, hey man, this community, it's got a buns, and like I know when you focus on the negative, then yeah, of course you'll view it that way. We could talk about how like there's a bunch of cool content creators, like regardless how you feel on SK Booger or Flats, since they're the big ones, and like me personally, I don't view like anyone's opinion as gospel. There's also like Quad and Panu who are cool, but the reason I bring this up is because like, so Black Panther, right? Really good. And apparently this is a drone take because of what Flats said. When like almost for the exact same reasoning, minus like the thing getting like some different things to work a little different. He had the thing S tier this season. I didn't really see anybody like complaining about that. And there's another topic I want to bring up, which is how many times are they gonna like rework or like nerf characters into the ground or like make them gross versions of what they once were, because like people don't want to deal with it. And like I know Black Panther's an extreme, right? Because he moves really fast. Like Magic Dash, like in comparison isn't that fast, and also has like a jank ass hitbox. Spider-Man like slows down. He like it comes to a stop when you hit him, and then most of the Psylocke, they kind of capped her nerf her dive abilities in my opinion. But instead of like a traditional nerf for like Black Panther, what if he got like racing stripes that leave a trail or something when he dashes, so that you can like actually track where he goes, right? And because in my opinion that character, yeah, like if they nerf anything else about him, I don't think he works as a character if they do that. And nice. And yeah, I mean I have like I don't know, man. Duelist is like, I don't know, like low key Duelist is like my least favorite role, so I don't have too much to say. Like it's got like everything, and like the most Vegeta-like players that like could exist are in that role as well. That's really it, man. They get a lot of love, and I don't think that's fair, truth be told. Since we're dealing with a double duelist season, it's got it. I want like 2.5 seasons before we get another duelist in the game. All right. Just drip feed them while those other two roles get beefed up and built up. All right, and then I've got some like I was kind of shorter than I thought it would be, but I got some other like mini things I want to talk about in this game that I've noticed. First things first, being monetization. I will always die on that hill that if a game's free and it's a quality product that gives out content releases for the game for free with no strings attached, like this game's doing with characters and maps, if they gotta make their money from $20 skins, then I ain't got no problems. I don't think that's crazy to say. And the reason I bring this up is I feel like they're starting to get a little crazy with like the different currencies in the game. I don't like that. They've like sort of tweaked it by giving out the like recolored currency in the battle pass, but I don't love that the epic skins or like the legendary ones or whatever that like get a bunch, like get the whole bundle of like stuff like MVP animation, emote, spray, title card thing, nameplate. I don't like that they can get a special ult effect and whatnot, but it can be locked behind the recolor. That's where like things get dicey for me. Okay, but by all means, you know, if I gotta pay $20 for like a cool Captain America skin, by all means, I'm down. You know, yeah, that's all I got. All right, and then another huge topic since the game's been out is the balancing around this game, which I want to say is interesting. But before like I go into any of that, I do want to like say our voice. This dev team's goated, okay? They respond really fast. They listen to the community. We can't take that for granted. But that being said, why has Luna ult not been tweaked at all? Why does like every time Hela falter a little, she gets something that props her right back up into being meta? I feel like Hawkeye doesn't get that much mileage. And then we're dealing with Squirrel Girl buffs. Like, I get that she falls off, a little bit the higher you go up, but I'm like team, if you're good enough, you can get it done, alright? And I hope the devs slightly, okay, not like too crazy, they alter their mindsets of who they're nerfing, buffing, along with all the balances. Like, I understand appealing to the casual, but like, I feel like for almost every game across any genre, right? Like, like making sure it's only casuals that like get the benefits from your team is a bad idea, because like they're not gonna know what like the big problems are, or like maybe why the like player count tapers off and whatnot. And so I do think like maybe general changes should be a little like sweaty or whatever for people who like constantly play the game. But that being said, there should be like a yin and yang to this, like the team ups. Okay, I know some people complain about how useless the team ups, and I get it. And that's why I think like if you like do slightly, I want to say slightly, cater the general balancing to the people who are constantly like in the ranked trenches or whatever, regardless. What if, like the Thing team up with Johnny, right? Someone's favorite character is Johnny and the Thing, and yeah, it's stupid fun, and I think that's what should be grabbing the casual fan, is like, this is what makes us different. Let like everyone's someone's favorite character, right? And that should be what draws them, is like, oh, my dumb little character gets to do this stupid thing. That looks really cool or really fun. I want to do that as them and feel like them, right? That's how you should be able to pull them in, and like keep their interest. But that's just how I think. And then one of the last things, probably the last thing, there might be something else that I want to talk about, is maps. All right, maps are like
crazy. The most united I've seen people on this game, besides Luna ult needing to be shortened, is that the maps are whack. And alright, hear me out. Walk with me. If we, I'm counting myself on that, I'm taking credit alongside the dev team. If they go on a heater, right, and we just get baller maps after maps after maps in a row, I think that'll shut up a lot of like, oh, the game's getting old or stale people, because the way I see it, as dumb as it sounds, right, either the character got to be really good, or the map got to be really good, or like the character's got to be someone's favorite. But I think it's true, because when Emma got put in, she could have been the worst thing in the game. I was gonna main her. I didn't care. I was gonna be happy as could be. I didn't even think about like how bad Krakoa was as a map. But when Ultron came out, I'm like, man, this just like isn't my speed. Then I was like, oh, let's play Arako, and like Arako's some mid, all right. It's okay, but the reason I bring up the maps is because like I thought it'd be a little fun, a little cool to do like a map rankings, or like my favorite maps in the game. All right, so number 1 and 2 we got Tokyo 2099 Shibuya and 2099 Spider Islands. They peaked with these maps, man, and the fact that one of them got yoinked out the map pool is kind of crazy. I think these are like the only two objectively really truly great maps. Maybe that's too strong, but I do think like they're the best in the game. They're calm. If that makes sense. I also like Spider-Man, so of course I'm gonna like the Spider-Man. All right, number 3 we got Hydra Base. Okay, if we're talking purely the best maps, right? Besides that Ancient Ruins point, I think this is the best domination map, bar none. It looks a little boring, but man, I think those other 2 points are so good. And like it's also like we ain't got much with domination, but a good map, all right. All right, number 4, I got a bit of a hot take, which is Midtown. I think this map rips, dude. I think it's fun. It's got the cute little Easter eggs, even if maybe you think they're a little lazy, but and like I'm kind of on an island, or like unaware of like these map picks, because like I wouldn't say I'm outside the community, but when I do see stuff, it's usually like a take that's voiced, or like a voiced opinion from like a clip or like TikTok, or someone being funny or trying to be, And the reason I say trying is because, man, that if you've seen that Reed post from that artist, you should be ashamed of yourself, dude. What are we doing? Anyway, I love Midtown. Midtown's fun. I think it's number 4. All right, for number 5, I think this might sound a little crazy to say, but number 5 is Yggdrasil Path. It's not that I think it's like maybe that like it's crazy to have it at 5. I don't know. I just think like it's like this map's vanilla flavored. You know what I mean? When I think Rivals, maybe it's because it's like the first map I've ever played on. When I think Rivals, this is the map I think of. I ain't got nothing to say, Other than, nice, calm map. Alright, for number 6, we got Bottle of Jalia. It's respectable. I think the only problem I got with it is the stage hazards. They kind of bother me a little. Other than that, so, I don't hate it. I think it's cool. Alright, number 7 is Quintar Symbiotic Surface. I know people don't like this map and it's unpopular, but like by comparison and everything else, I just think it's better, and I think like, and genuinely, I can't tell if I like the map because I had so much early success with it, or I just fuck with it, But I don't know. 7 seems fair for it. Alright, so like talking about maps, number 8, it's Arako. A whole lot of mid, which compared to some maps, we take what we can get. I don't got much love or like hate. Shout out Warlock, man. It's not what I expected Arako to be, but it is what it is. We Number 9, we got Burnin T'Challa. I hope I pronounced that first one right. I don't have super strong opinions, you know. But if I get stuck playing domination and I get it, you can't be upset with the draw. I do think it's like the second best domination map for what that's worth. Number 10, the first like truly bad map I think, which is Krakoa. Unlike any of the maps, they don't feel good to play at all. I'm not real happy doing it during a match. It's just lame. Also, Netties, don't play with me, man. We got Lockheed in the game. Okay, now put Kitty in the game. Okay, okay. But yeah. All right, number 11. I don't think it's fair to rank it any lower, even though it's pretty damn low. It's the new one, Celestial Husk. It's so like cluttered and gross. Also, it's like another symbiote map, which I'm not. You know, nah. I ain't got none for it, man. I ain't got no love. I ain't got no ambivalence towards it either, or ambiguity. All right, number 12. What I once thought was the worst map, Royal Palace. You know, I don't like when maps got like a elevated platform in the middle of it in the point. Um, I like the outdoors point kind of, but everything else just sucks ass, dude. I don't like the map at all. I was so bummed every time we got it. Last but not least, I genuinely don't think I like a map any less than Central Park, dude. Royal Palace I thought would be the worst of the worst. But the moment I move past the squirrel copters, shout out. I hate the map. I don't like the first point. I think it sucks to cap. And then that last push is awful. When I boot up ranked, I see the little like slideshow things for each map, and I see Squirrel Girl and Reed standing there, you know, talking like the kids discussing Fortnite. I get so bummed out, man. But so it deserves last. I genuinely think it's like the worst map. Yo, the 3.5 teaser and update info thing came out, and excuse me, W devs, worst bans for people who rage quit valid, um, compensation so that you don't get royally when they do quit and you play it out. W, surrendering. All right, can we talk about surrendering real quick? Like some matches you just know, man. You just know, okay. I'm not a oh no like I'll throw in the towel right away, but sometimes you just know. But anyway, making it so that you need one less vote. W. Luna Snow team up. I'm hesitant to say it'll be crazy because that looks like she gotta be. Maybe it's for dive. I think it might just be like because she's really bad against dive, in my opinion. I think it might just be for dive, you know, like being able to like like that weird turning damage into healing / like life stealing thing. Groot, Loki, Mantis team up's weird. Buffing Loki, who's like already really good to play, but it makes Groot like cooler, which I'm down for, and like gives Mantis some viability. Which W, I love Mantis. And then Blade. So when like Blade first got leaked out, it's Blade. All right, I'm just not a Blade guy, never have been. But he looks kind of sick, and I hope that the anti-heal doesn't go crazy. Well, those are just my first impressions. But anyways, hey man, you know how it is. If you were here for 5 minutes, a minute, you watched a chunk of it. I don't even want to say like all of it. You're just here for a little bit, you know. Thank you so much. You know, it's very humbling or cool that like I created something that like at least enticed you for a little, you know. I'm very appreciative of you spending your time like to do it. that's it. You know me. I I will always express gratitudes or appreciativeness to like the one viewer that who does watch it, or who or and anyone and everyone who does. But that's all I got. I'll try. Things might be scuffed. I don't know like how like fast I'll be able to do it, but I will try and do like Evo reactions. That's all from me, and I'll see you guys next time.